Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. You got Wayne and Tim in the building. We may have some additional people hopping on,
Right?
but the main reason we here is we talking about the Sixers. They're making moves in free agency. I like the moves that they're making. I know some people might feel like Paul George got too much money. That was the best free agent available. We went out and got him. Daryl Morey went and got him. And it also says a lot to me that you got all these other guys that's taking less money to play with the Sixers. And with the moves that's made, I like the Caleb Martin move. Caleb Martin against Boston. We've seen Caleb Martin actually have a very good series against Boston, play well against Boston. And I'm looking at the adjustments and the other players that we made. I think that we got closer to Boston because you look at what Embiid and Maxey can do together. Now you add Paul George and and um, and some of these other guys we got. Yeah, you got to give Morey his props. Hey, Charlie, hey, you know what? We got to give Morey his props, but it's going to be some people that don't, because some people just don't like Morey and anything Morey do. They're going to hate on what Morey do, and some of those people might be on the pot later on today. But what you think so far of that, Tim?
I mean, that the last move, the signing of Caleb Martin, I do like it. But I'm gonna give you the good and the bad. I'm gonna go with
Oh wait, we might get a Morey hater on earlier than I thought. Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna give you the good and bad. The good part about this is we actually have players that like Caleb Martin. He has experience of winning in the playoffs. Last year, that run he had last year, he was balling. Like he had a very good series against like Boston and like even up into the finals. He was He was hot. So I do like that. I like that signing. We didn't have to spend a lot of money. We only paid $32 million. They said the fact that Pat Riley still wanted to sign him lets me know that we wasn't getting fleeced. You know, sometimes I'm like, well, why didn't that team want to keep him? But they actually tried to resign him, and I think his agent probably overplayed his hand. And because they Miami was offering $65 million, the fact that that money dried up real fast, and he was only able to get we was able to get him for 4 years for $32 million. So, and I respect Pat Riley as a general manager and as a talent evaluator. So the fact that he still wanted him and we got him, that says a lot. I say that he's still good. And so the roster itself is filling out. That starting lineup of Paul George. They're saying that they plan on at power forward. This is where I say the bad is, because at 6'5" power forward, regular season, we're going to win a lot of games. We will. Nobody's game planning. But if you know anything about playoff basketball, that height is so different. It comes down to height, to where when it gets to playoff basketball. If you notice, remember last year when Doc Rivers, when we had Doc and everything, and we was playing a 6'5" PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker sucks and
Right,
won't shoot.
What happened when Boston went to that big lineup? That sucked.
Yeah.
You need
No. You don't. You know what happened when they went to that double big? They left PJ Tucker wide open and he wouldn't shoot. I guarantee you, Caleb Martin is not going to let that fly like
rebounding, because even last year we was killed because of rebounding. We got out rebounded a lot of time by New York. They was killing us. If you don't have a known guy that can like get up for rebounds, then you need somebody just tall that's going to automatically get them rebounds. So I don't know what Caleb Martin can do. He's a good on-ball defender or team defender, but as far as rebounding, you need height, and we're missing that height.
So why did New York have when they was out rebounding us? See, sometimes that's overrated a little bit. And the only reason I say that, well, I mean, hey, PJ Tucker didn't win a championship playing power forward.
Who?
PJ Tucker, they didn't win a championship with PJ. He wasn't near the year that they won.
He went to the finals with them. Didn't he go to the finals? I'm not sure.
That's what I'm asking. Only thing I'm saying is, and I hear you. I agree. I would rather a legit power forward. That being said, if you have guys that know how to block out, like the Knicks weren't overpowering nobody with height. They just was scrappy and getting into the ball, and they boxed out, they blocked out all that other stuff. So, in my opinion, you still have that. If you have people that play ball, that know how to play ball and box out, I'm not as worried about it.
Not in the playoffs. All of that regular season games, you could win those type of games. You
Knicks
need
did in the
height.
playoffs too. Knicks did in the playoffs.
The Knicks did it because they had bona fides. They had people like Josh Hart he was a dog. He went for the ball. That's his specialty. But then they still had big guys. We need like the center position is good. As long as we got Drummond and Embiid, we're fine there. But the power forward position, you can't a 6'5" power forward is not ideal, especially not playoff time. Just not.
I mean, the way I see it is, you're not going to be missing as many shots when you have the lineup that you have. When you have a guy that can shoot in that starting lineup, you have somebody that can shoot all over that lineup, every position in that starting lineup. So you don't need as many offensive rebounds. You won't need as many offensive rebounds. But that being said, the other team's going to have to stop them. You can't double down on Embiid or Maxey if you have these other guys that can shoot from outside. Go ahead, Ethan. What's your take on the trade on the offseason so far, free agency?
They are. Morey's trying to make moves. He's trying to get who's available. I'm not mad at the trades. I do think we can use a big four. Because Embiid is a rebounder, but he's not a great rebounder. So I would like to have somebody there to get some boards. I like the Caleb Martin pickup. He's a dog. He's better than PJ Tucker. He's upgraded on PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
He is a little undersized. I would like a big and I would like a big guard. Like who's our starting? Are we happy with Oubre as the starting two, or are we upgrading that position?
I'm fine with Oubre as a starting two.
Yeah, so one of them guys have to come off the bench. Oubre and Caleb Martin, in my opinion.
Why you say that though?
Because first of all, we need some bench depth. We need a little depth, but I would like a bigger body playing alongside Embiid. I would. That can shoot a little bit, but like the guy said, Knicks missed Randall. He got 11 rebounds. Remember, George Randall is coming back. That's a bigger body. On the block down there for the Knicks.
A bigger body, but I actually think them losing Hartenstein is huge. If you replace, now they're counting on Frank Mitchell to be their big. You know what I'm saying? Without that, you know what I'm saying?
Give me a few.
All right. I mean, now I will say this though, Lopez. If I don't know what the Bucks are doing with Lopez. If it's some kind of way, I do think it's still going to be some kind of way that we can get out there and get somebody. I do think that Paul Reed will be on the trading block if need be, if another opportunity comes up. But
Paul Reed's not with us no more.
Oh, we got rid of him already. We waived him already.
Yeah.
Oh, so we freed up money. Oh, that's what we got Caleb Martin with.
That's how we got Caleb Martin. Yeah.
Got you. So. Yeah, I read something earlier where some kind of way that still kind of opened up something. Like even freeing that up, it still kind of opened something up, like with contract wise and stuff.
It's with KJ Martin.
Yeah, KJ, that's what it was.
Yeah, but
now hold on. Now this what I got to check y'all on, right? Because when we had Tobias Harrison there, and he was in there, and it was like put KJ Martin in, KJ Martin the same size as Caleb Martin, except he can't shoot as well. But y'all wanted KJ Martin in there to put him, say, at least he'd go up and get a rebound. Y'all wanted KJ Martin to get playing time. So now we got Caleb Martin, who's a better shooter and a proven player. Yeah, you know, I
don't have a problem with Caleb Martin. What I'm saying is whoever's going to be backing him up, we need that to be I wanted to be a taller power forward. It's just not ideal. If you got a 6'5" power forward that's going to be playing like 30, 33 minutes a game, those remaining minutes in the game, I would like for it to be a taller, more athletic power forward.
Exactly. Our starting lineup is going to be 7'2", PG 6'9", Oubre 6'7", Martin 6'5", and Maxey 6'3". Y'all getting caught up.
Everybody adding everybody.
Everybody add everybody in the league. That's what everybody do.
Maxey 6'2", Oubre. I mean, I don't have a problem. Like B's gonna get his B 7'2". He's gonna get his. But if y'all remember the playoffs last year, we got severely out rebounded a lot of games by the Knicks. The Knicks was able to get a lot of second chance shots. I just don't want it to happen again like it did last year. These are the shots that they missed. They missed one, they missed two. They missed 3, and they still was able to get rebounds. So it's not about the shots that we missed. It's the shots that they made. They
So
had
you don't think we got
opportunities.
You don't think we got better defenders in there now? Better guys to box out? You don't think Paul George is a better defender and could box out? You don't think Caleb Martin boxes out and better defender?
It's not about you got.
No, it is. No, it's about boxing out because
you got to go grab that board. You got.
But guess what? It is about boxing out. You know why it's about boxing out? Because that's why New York was getting it. Josh Hart wasn't just jumping over nobody grabbing rebounds. He was scrapping up and they was getting a lot of floorboards. They was out hustling us.
I'm not saying this team is not better. We clearly are better. Right now, I feel good about this team. I want to feel better about the team. And I said the way we feel better is if we just get a little bit more taller down low, especially at that power forward position.
I mean, I hear you, and I'm not opposed to it. Who's the guy that we had last year? The bull from Philly, the twin,
Marcus Morris Jr.
Yeah, is he still available?
He's available now. I would get he's 6'8".
But see, that's what I'm. Now he's 6'8". Now you talking about Paul George is 6'9", but you talking about 6'8".
I mean, that's a nice lineup. You got a 6'8", 6'9", and 7'2". That's a good lineup.
No, I agree with you, but this is my other thing is, and this is what I do appreciate about Morey in this instance. And like I get some of the things people say and knock on him in the past and everything else, but in this instance, Morey has shown that for the most part he don't just jump into stuff unless it's something that he really want. Like in Harden deal, he really wanted Harden, but when he held on to Ben Simmons, everybody was saying he should get rid of Ben right now, get rid of him right now. And Morey's showing that he's willing to wait and see if he can get what he feels.
That was dumb for holding on to Ben like that.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
In the beginning, stop lying. Because in the beginning, you was one of the same ones arguing. You was the same one arguing along with me when people were saying you can't just take whatever you can get for Ben Simmons. Take whatever you can get for Ben Simmons.
The deal was that Halliburton. We still gonna go to Buddy Hill.
I still don't know if that was for sure. I still don't know if that was for sure.
Of course, he's gonna lie about it. That Buddy Hill Halliburton trade was the better trade.
No, it was. It definitely was.
And it's to trade all them draft picks.
But that wasn't the first trade that was offered. They was offering. It was other people that was offered for him too. But that's what I'm saying.
I don't like
2020. Indian probably would have been better than what we got because we was going to get assets back. We was going to get resources like picks,
like we did, like we still did.
No, I don't like. First of all, real quick, you got dudes throwing heights around. That don't mean you're a rebounder. Paul George and Tatum's the same height. But Tatum gets like 4 more rebounds a game. He's a rebounder. The dudes we have aren't real rebounders. Paul George is not a rebounder. Caleb Martin is not a rebounder. That's a difference. That's the difference between dudes that go in there, they got the size, the shoulder lift, they go in there and get a rebound. It is a difference. Them dudes from the Knicks are rebounders.
There's no way. Tatum, how many rebounds Tatum has?
Hold on. 9.
Is he averaging 9?
Paul George averaged 5. Paul George averaged 5.
That's not enough.
So he averaged 8. He averaged 8 this year. Paul George averaged 5. So it is a little bit of a difference. George Randle's a rebounder. They center Mitchell Robinson a rebounder. It's a little difference.
Well, it also makes a difference too.
That's the only thing I was saying.
I get it.
You just gotta be able to bang with them dudes when it's time.
But I think it also makes a difference now where you can't, in all honesty, when Embiid is down there, it's more than one body that goes to box him out. It's like everybody's like, all right, box Embiid out. He's their rebounder. So now
that's why you need somebody else to go there and get the boards.
You got other guys in there that can go in and get key. I've seen Caleb Martin get keyboards in big games. I've seen him make big shots in big games. So
I'm not.
I agree. And listen. If we're talking about in a perfect world. Absolutely. And we're not done yet. We still have roster spots. And I do think that with this lineup that we got here, I think you will get guys that's willing to come here for less money for their chance to win because it looks like the Sixers is building a team that can win.
What's the starting lineup? Is this the starting lineup?
Right now, I think that's what it is.
Caleb Oubre, Paul George, Embiid, Maxey.
Right now, I think it is. But I think it could change.
I don't know. I want either Caleb Martin or Oubre coming off the bench.
You want Oubre coming up? Oubre was successful coming off the bench last year. So
yeah, is he a starting? So who will be the? So would you swap that and Caleb Martin be the 2 and Oubre be the 3 or 4? Because he is taller.
I mean, it doesn't really matter what position you list them as the way that they play. It's like basically it's like a 5-out. So I think sometimes we
I
get
mean,
caught.
it matters like if you're
But it's
playing
a
zone,
position
who at
in
the top?
basketball.
Is Caleb at the top or is Oubre at the top?
It's probably going to be more Oubre, Caleb Martin at the top if you're playing that. Probably, I would think. But then again, maybe not. I'm saying because if you got Oubre up top, Oubre can get out and run on that break, and Caleb Martin plays physical down there. So I mean, that's what the coach got to figure out. But I do agree. I am interested to see what other moves we make though, because it is other moves that can be made. Like we starting to see now, where everybody money starting to dwindle up and dry up, and guys that was out there waiting for certain things, guys gonna start having to figure out where they want to fit in at. And I do think that the Sixers is. I think we've already seen where guys was willing to. Oubre, in my opinion, took a pay cut. I think Oubre could have went out and got more money, unless it's something about him that nobody likes in the league. Because we got him at a bargain last year.
Yeah, he got $1 million. He only got like $1 million last year. He got 8. He got 8, right?
Yeah,
that's still kind of cheap, though.
What do you get? 24, 32 million? That's
less than Paul Reed was getting.
What do you get? 16, 24 million?
It's like Paul 2 years, 16 million.
That's like Paul Reed
didn't get. No, he didn't. Paul Reed didn't get nothing. He got cut. He didn't get his money.
But
he bet on himself and lost.
But Paul Reed signed that contract with the Sixers. Utah was offering the same contract. The Sixers had to match it in order to sign him. So Paul Reed was being offered that money. You telling me that Oubre couldn't get more money out there if Paul Reed was getting that being offered that kind of money? And can the Sixers bring Paul Reed back? Or they waived him?
I don't want Paul Reed back. I'm good.
You said you want height and rebounds.
Paul Reed ain't give me that.
I kind of feel real bad for Paul Reed. They say he just bought a house. He just had a baby.
That's on him. He had opportunities.
No, I mean, did he? Yeah, he had opportunities, but it was so inconsistent.
Paul Reed had a 3-year, $23 million.
But the bulk of the money was coming these next 2 seasons, and then he got cut because he had a non-guaranteed contract.
Yeah, because he signed an extension or something, right?
Yeah, well, Danny Ainge gave him this real whack deal where they was trying to get him to sign with Utah, and so they made it so like we're going to make it seem like almost make it so the Sixers couldn't match it. But when the Sixers matched it, his contract would have been guaranteed if we got in the second round of playoffs. Unfortunately, we didn't make it to the second round.
Right, and Oubre got 2 years, $16 million. So it was something about Oubre. Well, Paul Reed didn't really see his money, so I don't know what he got after
he saw the first year. He saw the first year of it, didn't he?
But it was like that was small. It was like $2-3 million.
Oubre just guaranteed. Paul Reed wasn't, so it's a big difference with that.
I mean, Oubre took a low ball number last year, so I
That's Tim. Tim feeling bad for bums like Paul Reed. He
was a good.
I like Caleb Martin. He's a nice player. So, do you have to fill spots around the Sixers? Yeah. Right now, I think the Sixers have a better team. Where my worry next year is playing Embiid getting hurt in the playoffs. So now Embiid's concerned. I don't worry about the scoring title. Don't worry about MVP. You worry about getting through the season healthy. Sixers now have a team that I think can win without putting all the pressure on Embiid to play. Last year, without Embiid playing, it was hard for us to win. Now you got Paul George. Now you got Maxey. These 2 dudes with a collective unit with Oubre and Martin. We should be able to win games now without the reliance on Joel Embiid.
I mean, if we keep it we talking about even with the rebounding, like when Embiid was playing against the Knicks, we still was winning when Embiid was playing. The problem was when he came off, we got no rebounds. Now you got Drummond coming in and getting rebounds. I think that's a huge signing too to have him back here.
Yeah. Drummond is actually a way better rebounder than Joel Embiid, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, that's what Drummond do. Drummond was like an old school type center.
He was
during the time when the old school centers was getting weeded out. You know what I'm saying? Like if he'd came along about 10 years earlier, he probably would have been a beast, been up there and discuss. He'd have been like Ben Wallace or something. But
well, Paul Reed he made $7 million this year.
That's what I said. He made money.
So he
bought his contract out, right?
Yeah. So next year he was doing another $14 million the next 2 years. That ain't happening. So he just got to sign another deal. Maybe he's still an NBA player. I think he'll still be able to make some money. Unfortunately, he's just not gonna be. It's not gonna be here. I
was talking to my man Jermaine Carr earlier. He actually listened to the show. I don't know if he's on right now. Somebody said, "Is this year is it a bust? Is it a win or bust year for Philly? He made some good points. He said most teams that do this don't win the first year. I'm looking at Miami and things like that. But when I look at the health and the age of Joel Embiid and of Paul George, you are kind of in that situation where you it is almost like that. It's almost a this year though. You have to get past the second round, in my opinion. Even if you don't win it all, you have to show some progression. Even with Miami went to the finals and they lost. The only team I think that won it the first time was Boston with Pete with Garnett and them. But
so what?
This
So
year,
what did
though,
we
you
call,
do have to show improvement. You have to
So what do you consider success then?
Yeah, exactly.
get into the conference finals.
So what's bust? So when we saying there or
Get
bust,
what bus is losing in the second round.
But what I'm saying, usually when people say championship or bust means if you don't get the championship, you scrap the whole thing and you start over. The Sixers are not built to scrap and start all over. You got Reed, Bede, and Maxey all under big contracts. So if we don't even get there this year, they're still going to be there.
Yeah, but how you talking about Paul George and this is my thing. It's a 2-year max to me with this team with Joel Embiid and Paul George. It's a 2-year max with these dudes being healthy and being at the top of their game.
You've been saying that about Joel for the last 4 years, though. Come on. So what we know is
listen. If I keep saying it, I'm eventually be right. Right?
All right.
Paul George is 34. Embiid is 34. I know he's not, but his body is like he's 34. So listen, you have to get past the second round this year. I don't want to hear no excuses.
I'm optimistic. I'm going into the season optimistic. I fully believe. The only thing I need Morey to do right now, and I said this earlier, you got to give me a taller backup power forward. If you do that, I'm going in there optimistic. I'm going there with rose-colored glasses. I believe we can win it all. That's how I feel about it. I'm going in there.
Those teams got better too. Listen, who do you think got the best? What team
got better?
I know Ephraim want to come in and but other teams did get better.
Who? What team got better?
Yeah, Boston is the same.
What team got better?
I mean, I guess I'm looking on the West. The Knicks, they get better. Knicks got better.
The Knicks
Pacers got better. Pacers signed
I don't know if the Knicks got better.
Who the center the Pacers just got? I forget who they just signed.
The Pacers did get better.
Yeah, he just signed somebody. Who was it? What the center they signed?
Pacers got better. Knicks got better. I don't know about that.
I don't necessarily know if the Knicks got better.
The Knicks got better.
Hold on. The Knicks are coming back with a healthy Julius Randle, and they got Mikal Bridges. You don't think they got better?
Who's their bigs?
Mitchell Robinson.
That's their only big.
So they beat us without him. They beat us without him last year.
Okay,
they got Mitchell and Julius Randle as their bigs.
They didn't beat us without them because Hartenstein was very huge in that series against the Sixers.
And they still got him.
No, they don't. Hartenstein is gone.
I thought you said Hart. You said Hartenstein.
No, they got Wiseman. They got James Wiseman.
James Wiseman.
Oh, that's who Indiana picked up. That's a good pickup for Indiana. Another big.
Yeah, they're gonna be all right.
Yeah, Wiseman got athletic. He got some length to him. It's not a bad move.
No, Indiana got better.
Young.
So what you think overall about the free agency so far, Ephraim?
I mean, I like it. I mean, I like the. We talked about Caleb Martin a little bit. I was a little surprised how his 3-pointer ain't been falling the last couple of years. Last 2 years in particular, he was down in the regular season, but did go up in the postseason, which is promising. Last year was only 5 games, but he shot spectacular. And on 5 games, I think it was like 44%, something like that. It was pretty nice what he did in the playoffs last year, even though it was only a short stint. And the year before in the playoffs, he shot in, I think it was 23 games. He shot really well, shot over like 40-something%. So I'm not knocking that, but regular season was a little sus for whatever reason. So I mean, we gonna get to see.
Wait, real quick though, to the point that you're making. Remember, regular season. If you're talking about when he was with Miami, Jimmy don't play half of them games. So now you're asking for more from him. So what I'm saying is, with Caleb Martin coming in, and you got Bede, and you're not asking for a lot from Caleb Martin, except the same thing you asked for PJ. When you're left open, shoot that shot and knock it down.
I mean, we're gonna see. I mean, that was supposed to have been, the role of a lot of dudes who came in there. Even Buddy Hield, that was he had a lot of wide open looks, And outside them first 2 games in his last playoff game, he played like Dookie. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't hitting he missed a lot of open looks. So we're gonna get to analyze him for what he really is when he come here. You know, you got the players, you got the Tobias Harris type boys. We was hype on Tobias because we looked at his stats for LA with the Clippers. We like, oh, Tobias, we putting up buckets. Then when he got here, it's like, oh, okay.
No, I mean, even when he got here, his stats were still good until the last couple of years.
But again, we see what the deal was for real.
He averaged 19. He averaged 19 and 9.
Listen,
we know. Thanks to ask me what I think and then interrupt me every time I get on the roll a little bit.
No, you're right.
You told me 19 was trash, Wayne. You told me 19 was role player numbers.
No, Tobias was a role player.
Okay, so like I was saying, we'll get to evaluate him for what he really is when he gets here. I'm not mad at the signing, though. All that being said, I'm not mad at the signing because we got to fill out. We're filling out the roster now with some Bulls who legitimately balled for what we saw, especially in the playoffs. We all watched the playoffs. I think almost every team we watch all the playoffs. So when we seen Caleb Martin in the playoffs, he was hooping. So I'm not going, throw no salt in his game before I even see him, but we'll evaluate him there. I like the Drummond John. That was a great pickup. We should have never let Drummond go in the first place. That was a good move. Obviously, the Paul George was probably the best move you can make after you missed out on the Dante, what's his name, the boy from Atlanta. I thought he would have been the best possible move you could have made for real. Have him and Maxey. Yeah. I'm not mad at Mikal Bridges, John, because they gave up. I do think they gave up too much. The Knicks gave up way too much, Mikal.
Yeah.
I know Wish McCall was on here talking about that Starscream, who's a Nets fan, and he's a huge fan of Mikal Bridges. I'm a fan of Mikal Bridges, but 5-6 first-round picks, come on, man. That's Steph Curry, LeBron James type. You don't give that up for no Mikal Bridges. Like Mikal Bridges is a baller. He played defense. That's KD type stuff.
But if you think one piece it gets you to the chip and win you a chip, you give it up.
I'm out.
If they win a chip, it was worth it.
You might have to give me multiple chips.
The Knicks ain't won since the mid-70s.
Yeah, one chip is worth it.
To them,
only thing I will say about Bridges, for all that everybody talking about Bridges, Bridges had one stretch when he first got to the Nets where he averaged 26 points a game. Other than that, the highest last year he averaged 19, and before that everything was like 14, 15 and stuff like that. So it's not like Bridges got this long-standing. I get. Now I'm not saying because I wanted Bridges. All of us wanted Bridges, and I still would take Bridges on my team. But like you said, to that point of paying what they paid for him, like he's not that tier of a player to pay that kind of money. That ransom.
I agree. Now if you my thing is, but giving up, it's easy to say is if you think you can get a championship from giving up that much, okay. But you cannot guarantee a championship because you gave up 5 to 6 picks for this dude, or 6 picks.
I agree. I think the Knicks think they can move Randall and get some of them picks back.
I can see that.
I think they're gonna move Randall too.
I can see that.
And then there goes that thing. And wait a minute, people in here talking about something. The Knicks is still going to lock Bede. Bede averaged on a bad leg 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 5.7 assists against the Knicks. So where was it that the Knicks was clamping Bede with 2 bigs? Now you're going to put him down to 1 big? And now Bede has a backup in Drummond where he can have a guy come in here and spell him for moments.
Now, what I don't like, Wayne, is we watched the game. Bede ain't have great. He maybe had 1 or 2 really good games, but other than that, the Knicks did a really good job on him. You can't. Yeah. I know you look at numbers.
The plus minus for when Bede was in the game and when he was out, the Sixers were up. We lost when Bede was out the game, so they was not clamping Bede.
I know you look at numbers and say Bede did this and Bede did that. What, we won 1 game? We won 2 games. One was the Maxey miracle, and the other one when Bede played well.
And so they really did. We got gagged out of the game too. The one when Maxey fell and they hit him, didn't get the free throw. Nick Nurse didn't get the timeout. We lost that game based on purely on the
Is that the one where Hartenstein ran up behind Bede and offensive rebound?
He averaged 33 points a game, but he only played well 1 game. Okay.
Man, we saw those games. We seen them.
And we saw that we lost when Embiid was out the game. Our bench could not hold water. They couldn't hold nothing.
The bottom line is Joel Embiid cannot carry the Sixers to a playoff victory by himself. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that game where he can elevate the entire
team. Who's carrying anybody to victory by themselves?
There's a lot of superstars that
name them.
Allen
Brian
Iverson.
is the great. Brian, and what victory did Allen Iverson take him to?
He got us off the second round.
Brian is the GOAT to some people, and he's not doing it by himself. Everybody needs help.
It's one thing to need help. It's one thing that you can carry your team. You can be guaranteed a game 7. That's a game 7 where your team that you got to carry your team, that you got to take them to the next level. And B's never done it so far.
I mean, listen, to Wayne's point, I mean, y'all both right, but it's not that many players that could do that. You got LeBron.
And he's not one of them.
You got Jordan that was possibly able to do that. Steph did that with Golden State with Boston in the Boston series. He took that series over and was able to carry his team pretty much and win it. But, I mean, if Beat ain't that dude, then, I mean, so be it. But
exactly. And that's all.
It ain't like it's a lineage of people that have been able to do that. That it's not that many people that's that good that ever played the NBA, in my opinion. Jordan, LeBron, you got the top tier boys, Keem Olajuwon, you can probably throw him in there.
I mean, you can put stuff up there too. But that being said, it does make a difference when you have a certified backup center where Embiid doesn't have to come back on the court, where he can actually rest and not be in the fourth quarter.
But see, that was bad management last year. Remember during the trade deadline when me and Tim was screaming for them to get a backup big? Remember that? It don't matter. It don't matter. That was huge. That was huge. That's a bad Daryl Morey miscalculation. That was a huge miscalculation.
Who said it didn't matter not to have a backup center?
All y'all bulls was talking about how good Daryl Morey did in that trade.
Boys?
You.
How? Who said that we didn't need a backup center? That's what I was screaming that we need to win all the time, all that whole season.
OG did not lock up B in him.
OG kind of locked him up, and that
he had a couple games against him, but he did not lock him up. But my main thing with Beat is a couple plays down the stretch where I think he could have made some plays. He didn't make the plays in all the games to help us win. But he played dominant basketball for the better part of that series.
You forgot all the turnovers, the 8 turnover game in that playoff series where you can't do that.
Because Embiid hate.
No, I'm just saying.
It's funny. I hear you saying all that. What about Luka? When Luka had 7 to 8 turnovers in the game, you were still trying to praise him as one of the best players and all that. Mm-hmm. And he literally folded in the finals. No, I told y'all he was going to. By the way,
he was balling.
Exactly. But he was balling. His field goal percentage, his 3-point percentage was terrible. He fell apart in the majority of part of the game that they could have possibly won. You tried to cake for him like crazy. He had turnovers. He went scoreless his fourth quarter stats was horrendous in that finals. Let's not forget that. His fourth quarter, I think the first 4 games, he was averaging like 4 points a game. If Joel Embiid would have did this, you would have fit. But you glaze Luka like he was the second coming. I told you.
Nobody.
But according to what you were saying, the point I do agree with you is that I don't think he's the dude coming to say, "Give me the ball, everybody get out the way." That's not Joel. Exactly. So I'm fine with you getting a Paul George, Maxey now, elevating his game consistently throughout, the last couple years, and I think he's going to elevate it again this year. Maxey,
but guess what? Tim? You hating tomorrow Game 7? Well, guess what? What did B do in Game 6? Did B fold in Game 6 that we just lost by 3 to the Knicks? Nah, B had 13 rebounds in Game 6.
How much? What did he have?
39 points and 13 rebounds in Game 6 versus the Knicks that we lost by 3. So.
But Game 5, he had 9 turnovers, and then in Game 6, he had 5. He still had 5 turnovers in that game. That's too many. 39
That's the thing, right? I know y'all didn't want to treat. I know they said, who was he playing for? Cleveland, the Heat, whoever Drummond was playing for. I know people said they didn't want to trade for him. They didn't want to trade for Drummond. We gave up 3 second-round picks for the boy Buddy Hield, right?
Buddy Hield.
If you trade for Drummond, if you give up 3-4 second-round picks for Drummond, in my opinion,
we beat the Knicks.
You get past the Knicks.
I don't think that was there though. I remember during the trade deadline, they were saying how the prices for players that they thought like they was putting the prices up real high to get dudes at the trade deadline. That's why a lot of them guys. You're right.
No, you're right. You're right.
That's what they're doing.
That's what I do.
What's his name is still there? The boss that's over there that's looking that just went to Sacramento, DeRozan. They wanted to trade DeRozan, but they was like, nah, we ain't just giving them away. They was like, if you want DeRozan, you're going to have to pay this. They was doing stuff like the Nets did for the Bridges.
Y'all think it's a game? Y'all think it's a game?
I got a question. Aren't you one of them efficiency type of guys, right?
Yes, I love efficiency.
Joel Embiid.
Games. Go ahead.
That's that 6-game series that we had with the Knicks. Joel, 4 of them games, he shot 36% for game 1, 41% game 2. Then game 4, 36%. Game 5, 36%. He had 2 games where he shot 68 and 40%. Now, do you then the stats say he shot over 30% 30 points a game, or he had 36%?
And that's what I was mentioning. I said in a couple points in that game, especially in the fourth quarter, some shots that he missed, I wasn't.
Because when you got trash around you, you do start forcing the ball up. And that's the whole point, is why you bring in a Paul George.
But he shot terribly.
This is why, when you got to force up shots because them dudes is guarding them. That's why you bring in the help.
No.
I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying the same thing for Maxey. When you don't have them guys around to help them, then you see dudes starting to clamp up and they funnel Maxey in and they bottle him up.
But I remember those games in card. Tim and Ethan do go a little hard on B with the hate, but Wayne capes, I think, sometimes a little too much. And this is where I come in and try to balance it out, because I do remember a couple of them games. Bede had some good looks and he missed. He missed looks he should have knocked down, especially in the fourth quarter, that could have turned the tide of that game. So this is why the Bede slander a little bit is not egregious, because that field goal percent, and I what did I always say about efficiency? Efficiency wins games. When you're an efficient scorer, you win games. This is why LeBron has been to 8 straight or 9, whatever, how many straight finals he's been to. This is why Steph Curry is always up there in my mind as one of the elite players. He has actually probably the highest EFG, that's efficiency field goal percentage, in league history. So that stuff matters, and that's why those players win games, win championships. So when you have a player like B, who's for the better part of this season shot over 50%, and then when you get in the playoffs, you have 30% games, 40% games, that's not good. That's a bad thing, and you can't necessarily say, oh, the trash boys ain't step up. These are the same trash boys you've been playing with all year. So you got to be able to say, I know what I got, and this is what I got to do. But like Wayne said, though, all right, he does admit he needs some more help. We got Paul George. Maxey going to have another step up. We got the good backup center. So now we should be legitimately doing something in the playoffs this year. And
I agree with what people saying about I agree with y'all saying about the fourth quarter. But I think it does make a difference when you can't take him out the game at all. As soon as he sits on the bench, our lead goes down. As soon as you sit him on the bench, we start losing. So he can't sit down. He can't rest. So you know he's not built to play no 38 minutes a game. BJ ain't built like that. That's why it's big to have a backup center that could. Paul Reed was coming in and giving you nothing off the bench as your backup center. Nobody was coming in and giving you anything at that center position. No rebounds, nothing. So now you have a bona fide backup center that rebounds, plays defense, get blocks, and all that, and plays physical. It should make a difference. It should.
I agree. It don't matter. I'm not gonna say it don't matter the team. X-Man saying Steph and LeBron play with stacked team. No, they didn't. LeBron team wasn't always stacked when he took them to the finals. The year they played KD for the second time and Kyrie wasn't there, he took that team all the way to the finals. And partly because LeBron is, in my opinion, a GOAT.
And partly because the East was straight trash truck juice.
No, they had some solid teams.
No, wait. And one of them years, they actually gave Brian that joint. Who was it they robbed? Boston or was it Toronto? They robbed one of them. It was either Boston or Toronto that they robbed. I think it might have been Boston. They robbed them in the Eastern Conference Finals. And Brian got
I think it's more frustration with Joel Embiid. The frustration is starting to come off as hate. Because we was so patient with Joel Embiid for years. Injuries.
You've been saying Embiid was going to be done in 3 years since year one.
Hold on. When Joel Embiid ain't get on the basketball court after we drafted him for the first 2 years, 2.5 years. That's patience from Sixers fans organization. Then you see what he has in him. He keeps getting hurt. It's injury after injury after injury. And it's second round, first round knockouts, So after a while, it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating. So it just start building. and we want to see some progress.
And X-Man, by the way, real quick, the year that Klay Thompson didn't play when Curry surrounded by all these supposed Hall of Famers, he had one of his most efficient field goal years. He shot 48% from field goal and 42% from
Did
three.
They win?
All while averaging 32 points a game.
And maybe he should have jacked up some more shots.
So that's why I say efficiency matters. Now they actually was in the 8th seed to go to the playoffs, and it was the first year they started the playing tournament. Y'all remember that? And they ended up getting bounced by 2 teams who were dealing with injuries, and their players came back. And one of them was Memphis, and the other one was the Lakers when LeBron came back. So this is what I mean when I say efficiency matters. Efficiency puts you in a position to be able to win. This is why these players are great. So when Joel plays efficient the whole year and then gets into the playoffs and not efficient anymore, that in itself is annoying. Shout out to Bernard McCoy. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, fellas, I hope Maxey learns in the last game against the Knicks. When you're being swarmed, you have to get 15 assists and not take bad shots. That's true. That's true. Sometimes you got to be.
That's why I think that the guys that we got should help that.
Jermaine
I know Caleb Martin don't have great numbers in career numbers, but we've seen him step up when given opportunity and step up in big games.
But none of them have great. Paul George don't have a great 3. He does have a better 3. Caleb Martin doesn't have a great 3.
Wait, Paul George, what? Ain't his 3-point 41%?
Last year, contract year, he did shoot 41%.
Okay. I know in the playoffs it's dropped down to the 30s.
But I saw somebody made a good point. I was looking. I can't remember what. I was looking at some other pod or something, and they were saying how Paul George was standstill threes was like 45%.
Nice.
Whereas though, like the ones when he's shooting off the dribble, like when he's trying to create and do it himself, I think it was like in the 30s. So because he was trying to do more, he had to try to carry the load more.
So let me ask you, what Paul George is this Paul George a 3-and-D guy? What is he?
He's all
is he
that.
The
same two-way
He's
player?
a 3-and-D with a little bit more. He's a little bit more. He can still take people off the dribble. He can still cook off the dribble.
I don't know if he's cooking off the dribble like he used to.
Oh, nobody does it like they used to when you this old, but he still can cook off the dribble.
Well, we're gonna see 82 games this year, or at least 70 games of him playing, and we'll get to see who these players that they really can play. We'll be watching every game.
No, that's my point. I agree.
I want to see more Embiid and Maxey in the pick and pop, a pick and roll with Paul George waiting on the wings. I could see either one of them running like that. You know what I'm saying? You got Maxey can shoot. Imagine the space this creates for Maxey more than even more than Embiid. The space this creates for Maxey. Whereas though now Maxey can step out and if guys come out there that far, you got Maxey can hit them with their speed and drive past them.
Again, I think people missing my point about the efficiency. Efficiency puts you in a better position to win. So X-Man, Jermaine Carr, all y'all dudes who trying to hate on Steph Curry and LeBron or whatever, and the point I make about efficiency, y'all don't think efficiency matters? Like if a dude is shooting 55% in the regular season and then his efficiency goes down to about 38-40%, y'all don't think that's less of an opportunity to win the game? Like what concept do y'all think that doesn't matter? Buckets matter. This is why we get so mad when we see dudes like Buddy Hield, who's shot 40-something% three-point percentage before he got here, and then he gets here and he's shooting 35. Like that 6% difference, that's a lot of shots. Now, of course, it's a lot more, but when you talk about playoff basketball and how we need those shots and he wide open, he missing, that joint is annoying because that costs you games. That's the stuff that costs you games. When you're an efficient player, you put your team in a much better position to win. Does it equal that you're going to win the championship every time? No, because a lot of times you got to do.
No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying.
Efficiency matters, bro. I'm not trying to hear.
I hear what you're saying, but it's also a reason why most of the times when you have those star players that do go on to win, they have role players that take care of business when they left wide open. Because we know that when they get into playoff time, they like the stars that when you go up against a Bron, you like Bron ain't gonna beat us. Somebody else gonna have to beat us. Or even Steph ain't gonna beat us. Somebody else gonna have to beat us. And that's when you have like when he won that last one with Wiggins. When he's talking about Wiggins was going off that year. Like Wiggins was having a big series. You know what I'm saying? Because when you overplay that star player, other guys hit, and that makes the floor have to be balanced and open. And that's why I think it's going to happen for Maxey. And I'd rather see Maxey up top instead of on the wing, because I want to see Maxey up top with more space to operate. Maxey's one of the fastest players in the league with the rock. I don't know if they measured it or not, but I know what it looked like when Maxey got the rock and running around and he got open space. So I want to see Maxey with open space up top.
Then we'll see. I mean, listen, if y'all know anything about ball, y'all want to argue with me in the comment section about Steph and who this and the third, and y'all, I guess y'all making a point saying that Steph didn't do this or do that with Klay, and so you'll rather have Embiid than Steph? Is that what you're trying to tell me? If you're going to sit here and try to tell me Embiid is a better player than Steph, I at that point I don't even know what to tell you. Joel Embiid
is a better player than Steph.
That's not even a question. I don't care what situation you put him in. I don't care what if you put Embiid on Golden State and you put Steph on the Sixers. I don't care what situation you put him in. Steph is just a better player.
That's up for debate.
That's not even up for debate.
That's up for debate.
That's not even a question.
Tim don't even like Joel Embiid. He trolls.
Yeah, that's not even a question. So that's my whole thing. And one of the reasons not up for debate is because Steph has been consistently an efficient scorer who doesn't fall off the cliff that bad. You talking about what was Embiid's overall field goal percentage in the playoffs last year against the Knicks?
It was 40. I think it was 44 or 43% against the Knicks. I just looked at.
And what did he shoot in the regular season?
Like 50.
I don't know.
So how many percentage points did he?
All right. Well, let's ask this then. What was his regular shooting percentage in them games he came back with the injury?
It was 44% against the Knicks.
So that's what I'm saying. Was that closer to what he came back with the injury or without the injury? See, that's the problem. That's the problem when you try to figure out what he really is. That's the problem when you try to figure out what he really is because he's always hurt in the playoffs.
He shot 53% in the field in the regular season. So that's a 9. That's almost a 10.
But that's why I'm asking you, what was he shooting when he came back and was injured?
See, there we go. The excuses about the injury.
It's not
like it's always something.
It's not. I just said that's the problem with Embiid is when you're trying to figure out how efficient he is in the playoffs because he's always hurt in the playoffs. So how's that cape? How's that me caping for him?
I can't add all these. Sometimes you got to get down to the brass tacks. The brass tacks is the stats say what the stats say. He shot 53% in the regular season, and then he shot 44% in the playoffs.
So we said that's
playoffs. Almost a 10-point difference in efficiency. That's huge.
So in these playoffs, even with him shooting all that, if Buddy Hield plays better in them first 2 games, and if Maxey plays better in Game 6, I mean, it's a lot of ifs in that. So I'm just saying, now in certain series, I'm putting it completely on Embiid. With Boston last year in Game 7, that's on Embiid and Harden, and for the most part, or the previous year, that's on them. You got to come up, you got to show up and play. But I'm not putting when Embiid came to ball in Game 6. Embiid was balling in the series, in my opinion, and he really wasn't. Embiid and Maxey had no help. And then in Game 6, Maxey kind of fell off, but what's his name? Help get up some hill.
I'm putting Embiid into the same scrutiny I did with Luka. When it was time to get a bucket, a lot of times he didn't get it. He played good. He played solid throughout the playoffs, but this is the same scrutiny I gave with Luka. Everybody like, well, if Luka had a better team around him, they could have did this. If Luka would have played better when he had to play better, particularly in the fourth quarter, Dallas could have won that series or even been a little bit more competitive.
This is even what's more egregious.
Go ahead.
Joel Embiid, Game 1, 3-point shooting. He was 2 of 8, shot 25%. Game 2, shot 22%. Game 4, he shot 16%. Game 5, he shot 25%. He stunk it up on 3-point land.
So that's what killed his averages.
That's what killed his average. But he took like 8. One game, he took 8 3-pointers. The second game, he took 9 3-pointers. The third game, he took 7. He took 6. He was shooting way too many 3-pointers.
I agree. And that's why I said now I do agree that he needs to be in closer to the basket. But when he's in there at the basket and you don't have help to space the floor, he gets swarmed in the paint.
But he wasn't in the paint. I'm telling you, he wasn't even in the paint.
He wasn't in the paint because whenever he did, they swarmed him. This is why I'm saying you get role players around him. You get guys that can shoot around. in that first game, he was kicking out the Buddy Hill. The first 2 games, he wasn't hitting nothing.
Embiid, Buddy Hill played 1 game. He got set like the
No,
first
Buddy Hill got
games.
set after the second game. He stunk the first 2. And listen, I'm fine with. To me, Embiid should be more pick and rolls. It should be more Embiid on the post. You got guys that can spot up and shoot. That's what it's supposed to be for. So if they coming down and they trapping down on you, he need to make the pass and for these guys to score. That's all. You can't have a Tobias Harris going 0 for 2, taking only 2 stinking shots. And I hate for Tobias, like saying Tobias is a good role player, this, that, and other. Tobias quit. Tobias couldn't wait to get out of Philly. And Rob
Embiid quit last year.
Hey, Mukhtar,
I
do agree. The big man, I'm not going to say needs to shoot threes, but the game is opened up for the big man to shoot threes. But 7 to 8 threes, I think, for a big man is egregious. I don't even think Luka should shoot as many threes as he shoots. I think this is why it takes away from his game. He kept jacking up threes in finals games against Boston. It was bricking. But when you truth be told, I don't think LeBron should shoot as many threes as he shoots. Wow. And LeBron, this is the best he's been shooting in his career the last couple of years, and sometimes he shoots too many. At some point, you're actually costing your team buckets, possessions, because you're not efficient at what you do, and you jacking up too many threes. Sometimes the Steph is off. Sometimes he gets carried away and shoot too many threes. Especially if you off and you a big man, you definitely shouldn't be taking that many threes. You're costing your team possessions. It's a wasted possession a lot of times. 2 for 8, 2 for 9, 2 for 7, all that. Those are wasted possessions. So this is where I fault B in some of those instances. But hopefully going forward now, we got, another legitimate scorer, way better than Tobias. I agree. Somebody brought up Tobias had 0 points in that last game. I agree. That's why Golden State traded Klay. Their last game, he had 0 points. Everybody won't blame Steph for not getting him playing. And Klay Thompson has 0 points in that last game. But so now you got better scorers. We'll see what's going to happen. Even though I think the Golden State Buddy Hill move, I don't think that's. I think Buddy Hill and Klay Thompson's a wash.
I mean, honestly, that's like I think that series when we played against Boston and it went 7 games. I think you tell me if I got Caleb Martin playing power forward instead of stinking PJ Tucker, who wouldn't shoot an open shot for nothing. It makes a difference who you got around the players. But I'm not absolving Embiid. I agree with y'all. That's way too many 3-pointers. He shouldn't be shooting that many 3-pointers.
So we're about a week out of free agency. What team besides the Sixers do y'all think really did a service for themselves? Like they actually improved their team overall?
I think a couple of teams. I think OKC, the Arkansas move for OKC is going to be huge. I think OKC is going to be in the finals next year.
Whoa, you got them going to the NBA finals?
I thought OKC was built like that this year, but they was missing a big guy.
Now they got one.
If
a big physical guy like Chet solid, but what's his name opens it up a little bit.
Y'all like the DeRozan move?
To the Kings.
DeRozan to get you buckets. So that's a solid move for them.
Yeah, it is a good. I know they had some injuries. Kings actually would have probably had a better year last year. They had a couple boys get injured, especially that boy who shoot threes like crazy for him. I know he was injured during the playoffs or the play-in. Did they even get? I think they might have got bounced in the play-in or something. I forget what happened to Kings last year. But I think if Golden State get their hands on marketing, they'll have one of the best free agent moves if they get their hands on him. But right now, the Kings not a bad move. I put them in the top 5, but I think OKC with that Hartenstein move, I think that's going to
shout out to B Wise. Appreciate that. Sixers better than hoop and B don't get hurt in Paris. Hey, listen, that might be a blessing in disguise if he do. Because then that means he'll be sitting out most of the season and maybe come back fresh in the play.
I do think Sixers are up there in the top 5 in free agency moves, though.
You can't afford too many more injuries on that body, but Embiid.
I know. So far with Drummond, with Paul George, and with the Bull, who else we get? Drummond, Paul George,
Caleb Martin.
There
we go. I think we had one of the top.
Right.
You know the one benefit I do see with Embiid going. I'll prefer him not playing the Olympics, but I do like the fact that he's there around winner players. Yes, like you know what I'm saying. We talk how sometimes even with Harden, as much as Harden was Harden, he did help Maxey, you know what I'm saying, game somewhat. He did help some of it. So I think it is something to that when you playing around other guys like proven winners and stuff like that, and guys helping you with that mentality of it. You know what I mean? You over there with Steph and Brian and some of them other guys that won chips and stuff like that. I think that can help.
I'm sorry, but I still think Dallas made the move getting Klay Thompson in there.
What Klay Thompson are they getting?
But look at his stats. Klay didn't shoot bad last year. Everybody keep trying to say that he had this work. He might have had a bad last stats.
Now you want to look at stats. You was telling me about the eye test a second ago. Now you want to talk stats.
Look at the stats. But what I'm saying is, Klay
Thompson, what the eye test said, Ethan.
You know who's going to get? You know, Kyrie is a scorer, and you know Luka is a scorer, but they also creators. And if you got somebody who squared up to shoot that three, the one player that you want in that position is Klay Thompson. If you it's a quote by the boy Steph Curry. He said the boy with the prettiest jump shot he said he ever saw in his life was Klay Thompson. He said his shoulders are squared up. He's ready to knock down that shot every time.
He shot 38% last year from three.
Until history, and that's not bad.
That's really good.
That's good.
It is.
No,
the year before that, when we thought he stunk, he shot 412.
That's bad for Klay. That's terrible for Klay.
But he doesn't have to be like Klay anymore. He's gonna be like the third option.
What do you mean with Dallas? You think that's
with Dallas? He don't have to be that Klay.
So you think they're up there with free agents?
I think that's the team. They got. I can see Dallas back in the finals. To be honest.
I mean, that's a fair point. That's a fair point about shooting. But is he the same defensive player?
Dallas gonna hate Klay by the time he's done.
No,
I watch Klay. Listen, I watch Klay. Klay, my man. But if Klay has to do this, and I told y'all this on our regular chat. If he changes his approach to the game, it will go a long way. And he can be he has to be almost a DeRozan type player. Stop taking a lot of bad shots. Klay takes a lot of shots off of one leg, run it up without squaring the shoulders, throwing it up. And old Klay, but before the injuries, he had knocked that down with no problem. This Klay, no more. He has to.
He basically should be catch and shoot now.
What'd you say?
Yeah, basically, he's probably going to be catch and shoot now. You got Kyrie and you got Luka, ball dominant players. So Klay basically going to be a 3-and-D.
Yeah,
I think that, but at the same time, I do think a shooter like him needs to get shots up to get in a rhythm. So you taking some of his shots away, that could be a problem for Klay.
Right. He averaged about 15 shots a game last year.
He ain't going to average that many.
Huh?
You think he's going to average that many with Luka and Kyrie?
I think
they might open the floor up and rip and run.
It might go down to 12. I can see 12.
Luka gets.
Let me ask y'all this before we get out of here. If Ben Simmons get balled out, would y'all bring him back here? We need a point guard.
I would.
I
know Ephraim is opposed to this, but here's why I would say yes, because
for the vet minimum, yes, I would.
At 6'10", backup power
rebound.
Y'all don't. This is my grandma used to say, a glutton for punishment. She always used to say, "The glutton for punishment." Y'all glutton for punishment.
Welcome home, Ben.
What benefit would it be to bring him back?
All right, and I'll tell you the benefit that it would be. For one, if he comes back here, you're not looking at him to be the franchise cornerstone. He's coming back on a vet minimum, so you're not paying him big money. And you want him, he doesn't have to be in there down the stretch. But we talking about how we want somebody getting rebounds and play defense and all that. Ben Simmons does that. And he can lead a break and stuff like that. I would, but I'm not saying bring him back and have him as this feature starting point guard. No. I'm bringing him in to be a role player. I will take Ben Simmons as a role player. If he's
man, this is what I deal with. Y'all hate on me about Curry, but Curry is an all-time great player. Y'all try to discredit him every chance y'all get. X-Man, I'm talking to you. Jermaine, I'm talking to you. But y'all got these dudes on here talking about they want to bring Ben Simmons back at a vet minimum.
I didn't say that. I just put it out there because I knew.
All right, so wait. So if you got a choice between Ben Simmons or the Morris twin, which one you taking?
The Morris twin.
Yeah, I'm taking Markelle Fultz over Ben Simmons.
I'm not.
I wouldn't bring Ben Simmons.
Hold on. You think Markelle Fultz can't shoot the three? Ben don't shoot the three, but yet you take him back
because Ben Simmons gives you defense and rebounds, and we just said we need more rebounds.
We
just said we need more rebounds.
And Ben Simmons gives you head case. He said head case.
You gave your spill for Ben. Why you want him? Let me give you a spill why I want him. Ben Simmons. I wouldn't take him back for free. All right. The way he left the team, The attitude he displayed, listen, hasn't changed. It's one thing if a player did something in the past and you say, you know what, since he's been gone, he's made some significant strides to become a better person and a better player. What has Ben Simmons done to tell you that he's even remotely, even close to where he was when he left here? What has he done since then?
I don't think he is, but my thing is, it's a low risk, it's a low risk, high reward type situation. If you're giving him a vet minimum, that's what I'm saying. I'm not investing anything in it. That's to the point where though the vet minimum, you trying to fill the roster. If it's a better option, I'll take it. But if you tell me you can bring Ben Simmons in and now he's not on a contract, and for the fact that if Ben Simmons he must have the courage to come back and play in front of Philadelphia, to me he didn't even want to come back and play in front of us after he got traded.
That's why he's not. That's why you don't want to bring him back. He don't. What mental exercises has he done to even make you think that he'll be okay with coming back and playing with B, who he pretty much said not his man's. He pretty much said B gave him mental problems and all stuff like that.
But he also said he wanted to come back and play for Philly.
So
when I seen his recent workout video. I seen the workout
video. Show me a video of Ben saying he wanted to come back and play for Philly. Show me one video.
Working out.
Show me one video.
No,
I agree with Jermaine. He said I wouldn't. He said I wouldn't have Ben Simmons back here if he paid me to play for the team, and I absolutely agree with that, Jermaine. He couldn't do enough to come back here on this roster. Yet you got boys like y'all playing for punishment. This is what Philadelphia sports. This has happened when you've have been a Philadelphia sports fan for so long. Sometimes you become a glutton for this type of abuse. He abused this for the last 5 years.
And they want more.
And y'all
in April of 2023, Ben Simmons said if he was to be traded, he would want to return to Philadelphia.
Who said that?
We don't care what he said. He left the team in shambles.
Ephraim asked me where Ben Simmons said he would play for Philadelphia, and I'm telling him where he said he would play.
And I heard Ephraim said that.
First of all, I don't believe that. And if he did say that, this is again, I tried to tell you the bull Ben got mental problems. And
I agree.
Is saying that just to say it. He don't mean that. Ben will you really think he going to first of all, the ownership don't want him.
He said he wanted to come back as his brother. He still has family in the area. He would love to be back with his family.
We don't care.
First of all, if
Ben Simmons is playing for us, he's showing that he would come back and play for us.
He's not.
That point will be mute.
I wouldn't even. Come on. Why are we circling the wagon on this board like this? Why? I would rather bring AI back right now than Ben Simmons. Yes, Allen Iverson. Right now, I would rather have AI back.
They don't even want AI back to be a part of the front office. They don't want no parts of AI. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and you think they want parts of Ben? And you think they want parts of Ben?
I guarantee you they would take him.
I guarantee they won't.
If he get cut, I
guarantee you Ben will never play for the Sixers.
Now, what's other players I would take over him? But I'm saying don't act like we got a whole empty roster.
You must love dysfunction if you want Ben Simmons back here. You have to. You must want the drama. Y'all people that want Ben Simmons, y'all must like a woman that give you a headache, a drama. You know she always want to argue and fight.
So what headache and drama has been giving you?
Life.
What headache and drama has been giving you? If he's the 10th guy if he's the 10th man on the bench. If he's down on the bench, what did that bother you?
You don't think?
Right, you know what? Let's go get Giannis' brother. Giannis' brother begged to be traded. Let's bring him in instead of Ben Simmons.
But they said what they
say Giannis' brother over Ben.
This is the classic phrase. What they say? What the boys say? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. If Ben came here and acted dumb again, it'd be your fault. This is what happens when people. This is how people make bad decisions. Somebody already showed you who they were, very clearly. He showed you he was a powder. He showed you he wasn't a team player. He showed you he would stand his ground and not even play if you paid him to play. He did all of this. He powdered. He came in practice. He powdered. He soaked. He sulked. He did all of this only for y'all to say, "Yeah, come on back." with no signs of doing anything different.
He's in the last year of his contract.
He did the same thing with the Nets.
If he wants to play in the NBA, he got to try to do as much.
The money's gone.
He did the same thing with the Nets. He just did it with the Nets.
He was still getting paid by them. Now we're talking about him.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. A team is paying him, and he's still not playing.
You don't think people play better sometimes when they know they got to earn that money?
No.
You don't? That's why dudes playing contract years and be balling out. It'd be a dude that be a bum in the contract year, they ball out because they want that contract.
So you don't think Ben realized that when the Nets last year?
But this is the year
he's still under contract this year.
But I mean, but you don't think so? So you think that he didn't realize that this past year, was the time for him to showcase himself when the Nets spent all this money and all these assets to go get him?
It doesn't matter. This is the year that he got to showcase everything. He was hurt too. All right.
Now I'm not going out and chasing him and saying I got to bring him in and he's a missing piece. I'm telling you, if we got to fill a roster and you don't got somebody else that's a qualified power forward type, and I'm not even talking about having him come in as being the point guard and run. I'm not talking about him coming to be a main piece. I'm talking about him being a piece on the bench that to use in case of emergency type. If it's a better option, I'll take it. But
I agree with PA Saxon. This shows why this thinking shows why the Sixers haven't won a chip in over 40 years. I absolutely agree.
Why they ain't bring Ben back?
This is flawed thinking on Philly fans' behalf.
No. You know what kind of thinking? You know what kind of thinking got us where we at? Where dudes be hating on their players and be like, we don't need Iverson. We got Iguodala. He's the real AI. That's the kind of crap that got us in a situation like that, where we hate on our star players and hate on Embiid trash. Embiid, get rid of Barkley trash. Get rid of Barkley. Bring in Tim Perry and Jeff Hornacek. Yeah, that's why we've been so long without winning.
No, because you make bad decisions on players like Ben Simmons, who I told y'all was a mental midget very long time ago.
A vet minimum.
All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up. We definitely appreciate y'all joining us last minute on a Sunday. We'll be back. We're gonna be covering the.
Wait, argue like this for Tobias Harris until he gave us 0 points in the last game. Now he want to blame Tobias, but he who want to bring Tobias back on the vet minimum. Maybe we could get Tobias on the vet. I would actually probably rather have Tobias on the vet.
No, I wouldn't. I'd rather have Tobias where he
Tobias
at.
getting $25 million. You ain't getting him on the vet minimum.
I would rather. I'm just saying, if you could, I would rather have Tobias on the vet minimum.
I still take Ben.
I think I'd take Ben over Tobias.
Of course you would, Tim. You been glazing Ben since he came here. That's no surprise.
The word glazing and Ben and Tim does not go in the same sentence.
I'm actually a little bit more surprised at Wayne, but then Wayne caked for Ben for so long. I'm not that surprised because he had
Don't do that. I didn't.
He had 1.30 better than Steph Curry, so I could see him saying he want Ben back for a bet.
We gonna go.
Y'all two is
for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, I bought into him and that corny daggone shooting thing, and I owned up to that. That's the only time I said that.
Crazy pills.
All right, y'all. So like, comment, and subscribe. We will be covering the Olympics, the NBA stars, and the Olympics Team USA.
Where's the first game for the Olympics, by the way?
I know there's a game on Wednesday, but it's just like this is all pre-trial. This is all just practice and everything.
Okay.
So I know they're gonna be.
I was looking it up. It's hard to find when the games is. It's confusing. That's not. I pull up the NBA, give me a list. The game come on a night. Blah, 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 blah. It's like needle on a haze. It was maybe I'm being slow with it, but it was irritating trying to find one.
Y'all gotta get out y'all emotions too. Ben Simmons, you see how he left us? You see what he did?
I know that was real.
It's not emotion, it's logic. No, it's logic. It's logic.
That was real Jared McCain.
It's logic. When somebody shows you who they are.
On the young boy. We ain't even talking about the young boy coming off the bench shooting.
When somebody shows you who they are, why would you think any different? Y'all thinking is all. See, this is wrong. Like
no. I'm not saying I see nothing different.
Is impaired because if somebody showed you who they are, the intelligent thing is to say, you know what? Let me leave that person over there. Not let me bring the person back into the fold again. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
To bring him back at
minimum. Ask everyone
it's crazy talk.
To comment and to subscribe to the channel. If
y'all see Bronny sitting out already with knee injuries.
Bronny already got rusted knee. Spotify.
Oh yeah, talk about Bronny real quick. What happened with Bronny?
Tim got somewhere to go. You ain't got nowhere to be.
If coming me in here, I'm chilling with my family, and now
I'm saying we up in this joint talking.
You was 30 minutes late.
20 minutes. It came. It was 20.
So 20. What? Well, you go ahead and leave me and Ephraim on here. Go ahead, get out. You ain't getting content anyway.
Right.
You ain't bringing no dang content. Go. Don't cut us
Yeah,
off.
we can cover
Here,
some
go.
summer league. We're gonna pop back and cover summer league. We need to get a consistent day. We're gonna be here every week. Maybe like Tuesdays or something like that. We pop in.
Y'all the most inconsistent. Never mind.
That's what you gotta
Let's talk after the show.
Ain't
That's
nobody getting
after
Thibault. Thibault got cut from the Australian team. He cut him from the Australian.
Thibault done.
Wait, who was in here? Remember when we traded Thibault? Like, see, we got rid of Thibault too soon. Who was in here hyping up Thibault when he went to Portland at first?
That was me and Tim. I admit to that.
That wasn't me.
Okay.
I had nothing to do with that.
Since Tim don't want to take accountability, I guess I'll be the one taking it.
That was Ephraim.
It was me. But Bronny was
staying on. Are we staying on, or we gotta go?
No, shut it down, Tim. I gotta get something. I got my food waiting for me. I got some Olive Garden.
Thanks for joining us for real. We appreciate the love. Don't forget that like button. Subscribe.
Jimmy, hey, listen, don't cut it off. I'll stay on. You just leave.
All right, so we out.